Hey guys, I'm Coach Britt, and welcome to this week's Brain Clubhouse, where we will be covering the hot topic of intermittent fasting. This begins the beginning of our body, brain, and food series that we're going to do for a few weeks here. And I'm going to kind of explain to you what intermittent fasting is, why it's not just trendy, and why your business, your life success, your cognition, your mood, and your health all will benefit from this new habit. So what is intermittent fasting? Intermittent fasting is basically the process of restricting food or going without anything that's going to put calorie consumption into your body for a strategic period of time, but not full fast. So intermittent fasting is a period of fasting and then feeding, fasting, feeding, but it's strategic. So some people will fast, like myself. I will fast intermittently 14 hours a day. That's because I'm nursing. If I wasn't breastfeeding, it would be more like 16. Some people will do a 24-hour fast followed by a couple days of normal feeding, followed by another 24-hour fast. I mean, this can be done differently depending on each person, and it's definitely something you always want to consult with your health professional about, because like your doctor, if you're on medications, if you have diabetes or insulin resistance or different things, thyroid conditions, your requirements are going to be a little different for each person. But why this is so important is because your brain relies on specific things to keep functioning. Now, high insulin levels cause inflammation throughout the body, including in the brain. So when the body can take a break from feeding and from processing food, then the other organs can step up, they can recover, they can rest, and they can get better function, such as your brain. So we've lived in a culture basically where food is overly available, meaning we can eat anytime we want. I mean, what a blessing, right? And there's still places in the world where people are starving on a constant basis, and most of us don't even have to think about where our next meal is going to come from. It's right there. We have to worry about eating too much, eating and gaining weight, being gluttonous, right? We live in a whole different world. But what this does is that it has caused constant inflammation within our bodies, and it has really messed with our brain function by fluctuating our insulin levels and processing foods that often aren't even healthy for it in the first place. So giving it a little bit of a break is going to be is just a great habit to get into. I promise, once you get into it, it makes everything in life easier. It makes eating healthier food easier, dieting easier, all the things. Okay, so intermittent fasting, going a period without food within a healthy range, it suppresses overall inflammation. Inflammation in the brain is linked to neurological conditions and cognition problems. So to free up that inflammation is going to lessen things like, brain fog and anxiety and depression and all the things that can result due to inflammation in the brain. Lowered insulin levels, when we're not eating for a period of time, then our pancreas doesn't need to secrete all that insulin into our blood, which causes inflammation throughout the body. Now, you'll come to find out if you haven't researched this a little bit, inflammation is a necessary tool needed to basically fight off infection or things. We need the ability to have inflammation. Our problem is that we have chronic inflammation, and that's something we don't want. So to lower the inflammation levels by avoiding food for a strategic period of time gives our body a chance to recuperate. Okay, intermittent fasting actually increases our brain's natural growth factors. So it supports the brain's cognition. It supports the neurological responses in the brain and helps us think better and more clearly. Now, do keep in mind what you're eating when you are eating is going to have a factor in how well your brain functions, regardless of whether or not you're fasting. And it will make intermittent fasting easier or more complicated. The more simple carbohydrates and junk sugars you're eating are going to make going periods without food harder, because you're going to have more insulin issues and your body's going to be stuck in a state of needing carbohydrates. Okay, but we're going to talk about that more in future series. But for now, we're just going to talk about that as the best place to start when you're not even talking about what you're eating or going on a diet or any of that stuff, just fasting. One of the other benefits is it allows you to metabolically switch between glucose and ketones. So your body can switch between burning fat and burning carbohydrates. It makes it more dynamic. You were designed to be that way. I mean, think if you were in nature and you were out looking for food and you couldn't find an animal, so you're eating berries and plants, but then you get a deer, so you're eating fat and protein, right? Your body is able to jump between macronutrients well and burn what it has to burn. It's able to tap into your fat stores when you're going periods without food. Because of scarcity, it's going to use your fat stores well for food, as opposed to just catabolizing your muscle or fatiguing you because it just craves carbohydrates. So we've unconditioned our bodies to be really primal. So this is why intermittent fasting can help us get the body back into a state like that. It's better for cognition, and it's the best thing that fights degenerative disease like Alzheimer's and different issues with the brain. It's a great start to the day. I can tell you, when you do this and you finally go to eat your meal, one of the best things you can do is just eat a healthy meal. You will have been waiting, you'll be nice and hungry, and eat a super nutritious meal. Now, your window, because it automatically shrinks your eating window, it makes it easier to eat healthier food in that window if you plan it. So you plan your first meal to be a healthy meal, a shake or something really nutrient dense, right? And you have less hours in the day to worry about even what you're eating. And you can put it away at night without thinking about it. Once you're done eating, you're done eating. So you don't have to worry about you can't eat this, you can't eat that, you're craving this. Gosh, all I can think about is a cookie, because it's just not even on your mind. You're just not eating in that time. Okay? And lastly, the simplification. It is the little black dress of eating. You know, it's your eating uniform. It's your nutrition go-to. It's one of the easiest things you can do to just simplify your life. When you can take away, if you really think about it, if you look and you log your day and you think of how much time you spend around food, planning so many foods or snacks or munching here and there or worrying about your calories or what all you're doing, how much that takes you out of the other things you could be doing, such as your business, such as time with your family, your health, etc., or just some peace of mind of just having a time period where you don't need to worry about it. So the simplification is absolutely priceless, and that's what we are all about now, is making things more simple. This is why people, you know, some of the top CEOs have uniforms that they wear on a daily basis, because thinking about what to wear each day is a pain in the butt. Well, thinking about what to eat all the time is also a pain in the butt. So the shorter the eating window, the better we can free up our time and our mental cognition toward other things, and we can support our brain health throughout the process.